What's up, everyone? We are live for the last, extra innings for the Yankees Mets Subway Series Game 2. It's bottom of the 10th right now. Oof, got my boys here with me, Nelson and Matt. Appreciate y'all joining in. What's up, fellas? Let's get a W today. What do you guys think of the game so far?
What's up?
Pressure packed.
100%.
As usual.
100%. As usual. The Mets really need this game, though, so let's see if they can provide. I got my sunglasses ready here. Listen, I'm not going to say it, but these have the potential to be used today, so we'll see what happens.
Why are the sunglasses on your head, Chris? Enlighten us. Tell us all about it.
Because he looks like Billy Epler.
Listen, I do not look like Billy Epler. The sunglasses are on my head because if the Mets lose this ball game, I'll have taken a life lesson from them.
Chris.
I'll have taken a life lesson that the lights are too bright. Therefore, I shall put my shades on.
Chris.
And that's how I'm going to approach this.
I'm going to keep this PG, Chris. I'm not going to. Oh, what's his ump doing? Is he saying a timeout? This ump loves the camera.
Yep, he wants to be the star of the show.
He loves it.
He does.
Chris,
make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, obviously first and foremost. But yeah, we got some play-by-play action here. Figured it's getting late. Might as well do a little something here. We got Vientos up. He just struck out. Sorry to ruin it. Nelson is on a delay. Respect the delay.
I mean, this team cannot situational hit for the life of them.
Nope.
Just move the runner over, bro. That's all you had to do. What's he swinging
that guy's pretty
at?
Nasty. I'm not sure who is that on the mound. That guy's pretty nasty.
And why is he choking him out? What the heck is going on?
ESPN doesn't have they just have the team records underneath the team as opposed to who's pitching and who's at the plate and what number that guy is in the order. That really pisses me off. Is this King coming in? I have no idea. Because the Yankees are still so old school that they won't put names on the back of the jersey. So I have no idea who's coming out of the bullpen right now.
You have to have like their roster next to you and look it up. I hate national broadcast in general, but ESPN is the worst.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Fox went down here.
Fox is pretty bad too. Yeah.
When Joe Buck left, a lot of people don't like Joe Buck. I really happen to like Joe Buck. Over time, I grew to.
I don't like him, but I don't dislike him.
That is a hot take, but if you watch it, I don't know if you guys ever listened to Howard Stern growing up, but if you listen to his interview,
I did
on Howard Stern, like probably 2016 or 17. I think it was like right before the Super Bowl. He was awesome on Stern. Really, really good interview. Nelson, did you ever see that?
Hey,
I saw it. Yeah, he was good.
Hey, listen, while we're on commercial break, just want to shout you guys out real quick. Obviously, we have Matt, recurring guest. Nelson's going to be my co-host. Everyone tuning in, make sure you're paying attention for our new Mets Day After podcast coming out, the Interstate Mets Report with me and Nelson, doing that together, debuting June 27th later this month. We have a new page on there. It's at Interstate Met. We're going to toss it up right now. But make sure you go ahead and follow that on Twitter. And we're going to be doing that to YouTube as well. So we got some set days, looking at Tuesday, Friday kind of thing. So go ahead and do that. As always, make sure you sub to the guys' YouTube channels. Obviously, Nelson at Amish Country Mets Fan, go sub to his channel. Go follow him on Twitter. And new YouTube platform. Everybody, be on the lookout for at Flushing Sunny 41. Go subscribe to that YouTube channel, newly stood up as of tonight. Very excited for that, and hopefully we can get you some subs on there pretty quickly. So that's what we got going on. Just a little game update for everybody tuning in. Brandon Nimmo is up, bottom of the 10th inning. Man on second, ghost runner on second after Vientos Cade failed to get the runner over. This is Ramirez, lefty for the Yankees.
Never heard of him.
He's lefty. Let's see what Nimmo does here. We really need this game, gents. We really need this game.
He needs to do something. He needs to atone for his bullshit play.
Nimmo, get Mets win.
No way.
Go.
No way.
Oh.
Let's go.
Oh.
Let's go.
Nice.
Let's go!
Brandon Nimmo off the base of the wall. Off the base of the wall.
Let's go!
Let's go. Shout out Carolina Mets fan in here. Give me Joe Buck over Ravitch and Perez every day of the week. Shout out you Carolina Mets. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Here. Let's clap it up for the boys. Let's clap it up for the boys.
I'll give them a slow clap. They don't really deserve much, to be honest. Oh, we got the fireworks out the apple now.
Ooh.
All right, Nimmo needed that though. Nimmo needed that.
Nimmo needed that. After a very, very lackluster performance in the Subway Series, he needed that really badly.
Shout out Shay and Sons. They said he was gonna have a series to remember. I mean, it was good and bad, but
it was good and bad. The good, the bad, the ugly. But Nimmo got it done. You're
definitely gonna remember him for this series.
That was.
I thought he should have caught. I thought he was gonna catch that. To be honest.
Did you see Escobar? Like, that was a close play. I'm like, what do you? I guess he had to tag up, right? I guess he was looking for.
He had to wait. I think he thought he was gonna catch it too. I didn't think that was falling in. To be honest,
that ball was up there for a while. I thought it was gone off the bat. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I didn't. I thought he was gonna. Right? Probably a double. I don't know. It depends on when. Well, I guess I don't know. We'll have to see the box score, I guess.
Let's win.
Yeah, I honestly thought that was warning track power again. My bad.
I thought that was warning track power too. I'm not gonna lie. After what I saw the last week or so, I really thought that was warning track power. But man, Nimmo really did redeem himself. Honestly, gents, Matt, how are you feeling right now? How are you feeling?
I don't know how to say it while keeping it PG. I'm very excited. No, this was good. Very excited for Nimmo, who had a horrific series. Everything from dropping that ball to hitting like garbage. That blunder at second base. What was he thinking? Thinking? Way to redeem yourself. Great outing by Verlander. Great outing. I hate him, but great outing by Cole. Guy was perfect through 4.5, almost 5. So cannot say a bad word about Cole tonight. He did everything possible. Way to stay tough, that the bullpen. But the people that were texting me and tweeting me or messaging me about and I'm at this point. I'm so low on Buck. I mean, I can't even sell the stock anymore. But tweeting me and texting me that it was Buck's fault that the runner that IKF stole home. Brooks Raley, wake up! Wake up! What are you doing?
Escobar. Right?
Escobar too, and the third baseman has to be aware.
But beyond any of that, you are the pitcher. You control the game. Look, what are you doing? I mean, that's so frustrating. Listen, we could come on the stream and we could yell about Billy Epler. We could yell about Buck Showalter, and it's all warranted. But the players on the field are going to do something. Brooks Raley, wake up. Eddie Escobar, you've been playing this league for over a decade. Wake up. Wake up.
Listen. Let's get it. We're gonna get into the good, the bad, the ugly. I just want to say, my game ball. We got the prop out. My game ball is going to Justin Verlander. Obviously, you can see on the banner down below, 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 6 Ks. I was very worried for this matchup against Cole after the debacle that Scherzer threw out there after he got the lead in last night's game. So my game ball goes to Justin Verlander today after I threw some flack at him the last couple of starts. Gents, who are you giving your game ball to?
Nelson?
Is that me first?
Yeah,
I gotta go Nimmo. As even though he screwed up, like he got the game-winning hit. 2 RBIs tonight. I gotta give it to Nimmo.
All right, Nelson's going Nimmo. Matt, who are you going with?
Bit of a rant, and I'm going to keep it PG. My game ball goes to the home plate up. You're a bozo. Your strike zone kept moving all game. You started here. You ended here. Make up your mind. Pick one. It's one or the other. You're either going to call everything a strike or don't. But pick one. You're a bozo. You almost cost us the game, and we overcame your blunders. And the brass, I'm gonna be PG. I'm gonna be PG, Chris. The brass set of stones. The brass set of stones you have to call Jeff McNeil on a pitch violation. Are you kidding me? Because his foot was over the base. That is not the way that rule was intended. That is not. And I guarantee you, you go through tape of all MLB games this year, everyone's done that, and no one's been called. I can guarantee you Jeff McNeil's the first guy to be called. I don't care because we won, but home plate up, whatever your name is, I think Bill Miller, whatever, you're a bozo, you're a loser, and we overcame your brutal officiating from the fifth inning on. Thank you.
But the game ball's usually a good thing, Matt. What you got to give it to somebody for good reasons.
Collectively, as a team, as a unit, we overcame an idiot that was behind home plate that didn't want to see us win, that wanted to see Chris in his handsome sunglasses. That's what it was.
Oh, by the way, I don't need these tonight. I was 100% going to rock with these the entire live on my face.
You can put away the Epler sunglasses.
The Epler sunglasses, right. If the Mets had lost, I was rocking with those. I'm not going to lie to you. The Mets are going to be – if they lost, the lights were too bright. The lights are going to be too bright for me, but we won. That's all negated. Fantastic win. Listen, we're going to get into the ugly. But let's get into the positives first because that's how I want to spin a win. We got the split. I talked about it on the Mets Roundtable podcast on Monday. I said the Mets were going to split. I firmly believed it. Seems like we always split with the Yankees. Doesn't matter who has the upper hand in terms of talent. It seems like we always split with the Yankees. So we got the split. Huge win. Obviously, St. Louis comes to town next. Positives to build off of. Before we get into that, Carolina Mets fans, shout out you for traveling to ATL. I did see that on Twitter. For that series last week. Apologies, you had to see some horrendous choke job that the Mets, whichever game or games you went to, it was a choke job at all. I
think he went to all of them.
Sorry you had to witness that, but shout out to you. I know Carolina, I'm assuming you're in Carolina. It's a little closer to Georgia than the rest of us, so shout out you. Everybody tuning in the stream right now, if you're tuning in, if you're on the YouTube channel, make sure you drop those comments. We'll display on the screen. We'll discuss. If you're on the Twitter, I can't see those comments. I don't believe. I maybe or maybe not. I don't know. But you can find this YouTube link on my Twitter page, on Amish Country Mets fan, or Amish Country Met on Twitter, I think it is. Nelson's Twitter page. And come chat with us. This is an exciting night. Was really bummed out when IKF stole home. That was a really big mood changer for me midway through the game, but we prevailed. Nelson, I'm going to go with you first here. Tell me positives of this game, positives that you saw that we can build off of. Don't worry, we're going to get into the negatives because, like I said, one win doesn't change my outlook on pretty much anything. I need to see consistency. We're going to get into the ugly, but Nelson, positives to build off of tonight.
Well, I don't want to focus on the negative anyway because I feel like we do that enough. But I mean, I'll state my negative when the time comes. But before I get into my positives, Steve Cohen tweeted, "That was a crazy game. Too many mental mistakes, but I will take it."
Oh, he comes back out on Twitter now?
The boss is watching. He doesn't like the mental mistakes.
I have a lot to say about that when it's my turn. I have a lot to say about Steve Cohen. Go ahead.
All right. Positives, obviously, Justin Verlander. Good to see. I mean, there was a little bit of negatives in that too. I'll get to that later. But yeah, positive is 6 innings. Wish he could have gone 7, but you'll take 6 innings, 6 Ks against the Yankees any day. Nimmo was a positive and a negative, but that's a positive. Lindor getting a big hit early in the game, that was a positive. Tommy Pham, couple big hits. He's staying hot. Got to give him his credit as much as we knock him. So yeah, those were the positive. And it's funny to say, but in a win, there wasn't that many crazy positives. It was they couldn't hit Cole, which that not a lot of teams can hit Cole, so it is what it is. They struck out a lot. stuff like that. But at the end of the day, they pulled through. So you got to give them their props for pulling through and for getting one after an abysmal last however many games. I've lost count, but good for them.
Agreed. I agree with all those. I will add on to that. I know Matt is going to add on to that as well. We got Mets talk with Hayden, LFGM in the chat. Appreciate you joining in, Hayden. Go check out his YouTube as well. If you're a Mets fan in here, go check him out. It says Captain Nemo, obviously, Mr. Nemo, Mr. 8-year deal, Mr. Walk Off tonight. Love me some Brandon Nemo. And then we got Carolina Mets fan. Oh, wow, the owner finally said something. Of course, after a measly win, after a 1-9 drought. Yep. I mean, we'll get into that. We'll go into some positives. I definitely understand the negative side of Mets Twitter still not being convinced. It's going to take myself some convincing as well. But we got Mr. Positive Matt. I always love to go and get Matt's perspective on things because he always keeps me in line in our chat. He always keeps me in line when I feel like I'm going off the rails and I really want to jump off this crazy roller coaster the Mets put me through. Not like I'm going to be going anywhere in terms of the content, but just like trying to maintain this positive aura is very hard when the Mets do what they do. So Matt, let's hear your takes. Let's hear some positives.
It's tough, Chris, because we're all doing this for fun. No one's getting a paycheck. And when we got to come day in and day out, write about the Mets, talk about the Mets, tweet about the Mets, do videos about the Mets, jump on these live streams, it's tough when every single night we're losing. It hurts you. It hurts you in your heart, and I don't fault you when you go down that path, but that's why I'm back. That's why I'm there. Yeah, just when I think about, they pull me back in. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
One quick thing on today's game. You guys covered a lot, and I guess we'll get into Cohen later, so I don't want to overstep. Verlander.
Follows YouTube.
Great.
Subs his YouTube.
Great start by Verlander. Whatever happens from here on out, I don't know. I mean, we know that Verlander, he's been up and down. Scherzer, he's been up and down. Don't tell me that Max Scherzer hasn't had a great start as a Met, because tonight was a great start as a Met. All right, going 8 against Cleveland.
Verlander? You mean Verlander?
Verlander, I'm sorry. 8 against Cleveland and 1 run. That was real good, but Cleveland sucks. I know this isn't the Yankees' best lineup, but Giancarlo Stanton's still in, and Garrett Cole is pitching on the other side. So damn good job today. And Verlander, great start by Verlander. You could tell he was laboring. He was, especially as those innings were going on, he was laboring, and he really pushed it in that 6th inning. You could tell. And credit to him for staying tough, and hell of a play by Eduardo Escobar to grab that ball behind him, flip it to second, and I want to say it was McNeil that got clipped and threw it over the first. Great play all around there, because that definitely helped save the game. But way to go Verlander, and it proves the point that we continue to break down here. Go 6 innings. You're the starter. Give me 6 innings, and I'll give you a win. Give me 6 innings night after night, and I'll give you a win. So you know what? Kudos to Justin Verlander. You're out. If you're a Mets fan and Justin Verlander's in your doghouse, you're a fool. Put on the dunce cap and go in the corner, because Justin Verlander had a great win.
Love it. I love it. Definitely agree with that. Justin Verlander's one positive for sure. We needed that. Shout out Yesenia, shouting out the Cuzzo Nelson Alvarez Jr., Mr.
What
Amish
up,
Country
cuz?
Met. Yeah, appreciate you tuning into the stream. Got that going on. Positives to build off of. One is 100% Justin Verlander. He got my game ball, 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run. Battling counts all day long. Bauer, the leadoff hitter, was fouling a lot of pitches off. He was struggling to put him away. They worked the counts. I think he was at like 55, approaching 60 pitches through 3, ended up getting through 6, which is exactly what you need out of an ace in a game like this. What I will say is that, in an environment like that, when you have the Yankees fans taking over Citi Field in what I heard as taking over Citi Field, which is absolutely absurd. Can't happen. I heard "Let's Go Yankees" chants through my screen. I'm going to be completely honest with you. And they were uncountered. I don't know what the environment was like at the game. That's a bunch of baloney. That's a bunch of BS. That can't happen. So that's
Heavy,
almost like pitching in a road
heavy,
setting, right?
heavy Yankee, very heavy Yankee presence there tonight. Listen, that's the Subway Series.
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
That's always going to
I know
happen.
that.
It
I
is
know
what it
that.
is.
But regardless, it was a great performance by Justin Verlander to keep his composure. Obviously, coming back after a couple bad starts and putting together something, a start that this Mets team needed, right? And following up Scherzer's stinker last night. Shout
Also,
out Ange as well. We got the Stankies in the chat as well, so
can I
we
get
got
one more
that.
thing in here, Chris? Credit to Francisco Lindor. I've been kicking your rear end for the past 2 weeks now. You broke up the perfect game today. You hit a nice little double into the outfield, and I believe he scored the first run. I believe. Am I wrong?
Yep. No,
He
that's
did.
right.
Yeah. So credit to
Off of Tommy
Francisco
Pham's
Lindor.
knock. Yep. So
Yep.
we got
Fam drove him.
Lindor breaking up the no-no, obviously when that was happening from the left side. Thank goodness we finally see productive at-bat from the left side.
I like
After
the
last
new
night.
haircut too.
The new haircut, shout out the new haircut
Yeah.
from Francisco Lindor. Looks really good on him. Looks great. And he got a hit out of it. Tommy Pham, a definite positive out of me. For me, a guy that I need to hold myself accountable when I go on these tangents about guys that have been performing. When they finally start to perform at a consistent pace, which Tommy Pham has definitely done over the past 2 weeks, I need to shout him out and hold myself accountable. So shout out Tommy Pham. He's been on fire.
100%, Chris. A couple weeks ago, I had that in one of my blogs that he should be one of the guys. I had basically said kind of hammer Vogelback. One of them's got to go, and I had hit a breaking point. I had thought with Pham. So credit to Pham. He's proven me wrong. There's nothing that makes me happier than being proven wrong. Nothing.
I think all of us were out on Vogelback on Pham at one point. It's not on both of them, but we're still out on Vogelback.
It was warranted, and until Vogelback, if they decide to keep it, until Vogelback shows me consistently, like Tommy Pham has over the past couple weeks, if he shows me a good stretch to say, okay, maybe we got something in Vogelback, I don't think it's irreparable, but I'd rather just not see him on this team anymore, to not even have those chances, because the Mets really can't afford that right now. That's for another time. Yesenia, appreciate you, of course, saying she loves this, and this was definitely a good game tonight. Appreciate you joining the stream. Thank you so much.
She's a Yankee fan. Don't hate her.
She's a Yankees fan. That changed the ball game for me. But we still welcome Yankees fans here if it's a Subway Series. So that's one thing. But to add on to what you all said, obviously Vientos played a serviceable first base today. I say he looked a little shaky, to Nelson's credit, but he played a serviceable first base, in my opinion. He stepped up. We needed him in the lineup. This is the way for Buck Showalter to get him in the lineup, is playing him at first base, and he played a serviceable first base. The back end of the bullpen. No one mentioned the back end of the bullpen. The mainstays giving up no runs after Jeff Brigham gave up those 2 runs. We had what was it? Rayleigh, right? Otto,
Rayleigh,
Robertson, and Leo.
No, Brooks Rayleigh shit the bed. Brooks Rayleigh.
I was gonna say Rayleigh had issues.
Well, he wasn't knocked with any earned runs. That was on Brigham's line. But Brigham also started that inning off with with a walk and a hit batter too, so can't have that. But the back end of the bullpen, through and through, in general tonight held it down, which is what we like to see. I rag on Dominic Leone as well all the time.
There we go.
I rag on Dominic Leone. I was just getting there. I know exactly where you're heading. I rag on Dominic Leone all the time, but he's another guy who's been showing me over the past week and a half that he is capable of being serviceable, is what I would say, at the major league level as well. So shout out him. Obviously came in clutch there in the bottom or the top of the 10th, I believe it was, when he came in. And we got ourselves a little win. I don't know how much momentum this is going to carry. It's only one win at the end of the day. St. Louis is coming into town. Regardless of their struggles this season, they always play the Mets hard. Their roster on paper is still, they're no slouches. Let's see. We got another comment in here. Finally, Verlander earned his Mets straps tonight. I wonder what Evan Roberts will say tomorrow. Yeah, I don't really pay attention to Evan Roberts. I'm sure Matt, does more than I do. I don't live in New York area. I don't listen to the radio like that. So let's see what happens. Maybe I'll start going and paying attention to him because I saw Stephen A. Smith actually was mentioning Evan Roberts and some of the flack that he was catching. So when Stephen A. Smith's talking about it, it's getting some attention. But anyways, yeah, Subway Series. There's some positives to build off of, right? Francisco Lindor, Vientos, Brandon Nimmo, who obviously recuperated. The pitching today, all in all, was fantastic. Definitely much needed. Yeah, Brooks Raley was a debacle today. I will go back and say that was inexcusable. What happened with IKF stealing home? That was inexcusable. We can say Eduardo Escobar should have been yelling. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. We don't know, but that stadium's loud as all hell. So Brooks Raley, who's in a full windup, which is fine, but at least look the runner back when you're in the full lineup. Step off if need be. And not only that, is that IKF had that stolen already, but that was a terrible pitch because he was rushed. And it was just
I don't think he was. Anyway, I think he was trying to throw him out at that point, but it was ugly.
That's a compilation of a lot of things. So Alvarez doesn't get a great throw from home plate, and I mean, not to nitpick, but I expect a little better out of Francisco Lindor. He's sitting there waiting on second base. The ball's all the way out here. I feel like you have enough time to react. I feel like. Maybe, I don't know, did he think that McNeil was behind him? I don't know. I can't speak for Lindor, but that was a fielding debacle. I mean,
I'd have to see the play again, to be honest.
I watched that replay. IKF should have never been at third. IKF was only at third because nobody was behind Lindor, and that ball sailed right past him. So similar to that play, whatever it was in the sixth, I had it written down here. I don't have what inning it was. When McNeil's trying to turn two and he throws to Vientos and it's the bobble.
That was bad. That was bad. Listen, I saw some people trying to put that on Vientos and whatever. Maybe Pete Alonso gets that.
No, that's
Jeff McNeil needs to eat that ball. As a veteran player, you do not throw that ball. You do not throw that ball.
But Chris, to me, it's both. And I'm not going to kill Vientos because he's got no time at first base up here. Okay, so I'm not going to kill him, but lesson learned for Vientos, mental lesson learned, you got to get off the bag and field that cleanly. Because the worst thing that can happen is that ball getting past you. Forget the double play. The worst thing that can happen. Listen, ultimately, it's on the veteran that just got the new contract. It's on Jeff McNeil. Do not flip this on Vientos. I agree. But Vientos, lesson learned, don't let this happen again. Get off the bag.
Yeah, to me that's all.
I just think. Yeah, go ahead, Nelson.
No, to me that's all McNeil. McNeil has made a lot of mental errors recently, man. It's not. I don't know what his issue is. It's a team-wide issue. They're making mental. Steve Cohen said it in his tweet. They're making a lot of mental mistakes, and they're very noticeable. And I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's just because they're pressing or what, but it's bad.
It's not a winning baseball being played. I mean, even tonight, that's not winning baseball. You don't win probably if you perform like that against another major league team. You don't win 9 times out of 10. The Mets were lucky to come back and squeak a win out, but with those sort of mental errors and the opportunities that they left on the table, you can't keep doing that. And that's been a theme, the past week and a half when we've been losing all these games. I think it was 8 or 9 or whatnot. But shout out Cedric Sullivan in the chat. W with the exclamation mark.
W, that's right.
Appreciate you subscribing as well. Appreciate Cedric. Definitely, yeah. We needed this win. We all know we needed this win. Jack also tuning in. Jack McGuire. I think he was trying to hit him. He was trying to hit IKF coming to home because he already knew he messed that up.
New rules: you hit the bat. You hit.
He was trying to hit the batter. He was trying to hit the batter. Yeah. Because maybe. Wait, hold on. Does anyone know the rule on that? I played baseball all my life. I don't know the rule of that. He steals home. If you hit the batter in that instance, Jack actually might be onto something. That's a ball at that point.
So does he have to try to go back? That's a good question. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't.
like it's hit by pitch, so he's got
It's a
to.
dead ball at that point because it's the
Yeah.
same play, so
Yeah,
he
but
has to
that's
go
the
back
thing.
to
Yeah,
third.
but
I think that's
regardless,
Jack. That was a
no, but
really
that's
good
still.
point. I'm picking up what you're putting down, and I think I agree with that. I think it
No
would be a
matter
dead
how
ball
you
if the runner
word
goes
that,
back
though,
to third.
Chris, Jack, with respect to Jack and Chris, no matter how you word that, everyone's got to be aware. Like, there is no excuse for someone to steal home. No excuse. I don't care that you're a lefty. You shouldn't be in your windup with a runner on third. What are you assuming he can't go? He was halfway down the line. What do you do? You don't give a. Brooks Raley is standing here in his windup, and IKF is midway between third base and home plate. Say whatever we want about Eduardo Escobar. Look, you got time on the pitch clock. Look his way. No, at no point, I agree. I'm not calling you crazy. That's fine. Hit the batter. I get it. He goes to first. The guy goes back to third. But you're the pitcher. You have the ball. You're in control of the game. You're the quarterback. Look before you throw. Know what's
No,
going
I hear
on.
that. It's
Be
just
telegraphed better.
it's just a good baseball talking point in my opinion that it should have never gotten to that point. I completely hear you, but it's a good rule of thumb. It's a good discussion to have because I think at that point, if you're going to be heads up and just hit him, I think he does have to go back to third because it's in the same play. It's a dead ball. So I'm actually gonna have to do some more research into that. I'm sure it's already out and about on Twitter and whatnot.
Probably.
But before we get into anything else, guys, make sure you guys follow Interstate Mets at Interstate Mets on Twitter. Nelson and I are dropping a Mets Day After podcast debuting June 27th. I'm sure at some point we'll have Matt on there as well. But it's going to be co-hosted by myself and Nelson. We developed a Twitter page. It's going to be streaming when we go and do these Mets Day Afters. I think we'll do a little bit of episode podcast, pre-record episodes, a little bit of lives, kind of mix it up. But we're going to try to keep it consistent. We're going to have, all of our talking points, all of our notes, but it's going to be definitely a fun project to work on. I'm excited for that. So make sure you follow us on Twitter, shout us out. That'd be appreciated. And make sure you guys are following everyone on Twitter and following everyone's, YouTube channels. Follow the pod on Twitter at CPNY Sports. Follow Nelson's or subscribe to Nelson's channel. Follow him on Twitter. And then also Matt also just stood his YouTube channel up. So go subscribe to @Flushing's Sunny41 as well. Also, same handle on Twitter. But it was all in all. And Yesenia, awesome show. I'll be following. Have a good night, gentlemen, and bye, Kozo. Proud of you. Awesome stuff. Thank you for tuning in. Always appreciate the support, no matter if you're a Mets, Yankees fan. I don't care if road fans join this stream and drop some respectful comments. I'll chat it up with whoever's a baseball fan. So whoever the Mets are playing. Regardless, though, we dealt this as a positives. The win in general is a positive, and I don't want to. We'll go back into the positives before we end this, but we got to talk about the negatives too. Like it's we're here to recap the Subway Series. We're coming off of a win. It's all exciting, and I get it, but I'm not going to sit here and act like all the emotions from the Game 1 loss to the Yankees, that ugly performance by Max Scherzer, is completely erased from my memory. Matt, we'll start with you. Obviously, the positives, we won today. Game 1 and subsequent series that we've lost before that, Pirates, Braves, Jays, you name it. What did you see in Game 1? Scherzer didn't have a good, after he got the lead, he gave it up. What are you thinking there with Scherzer?
What I'm about to say is maybe it's not popular on Mets Twitter. Maybe it's not popular amongst Mets fans. Max Scherzer let us down, and we know that. Max came in with a 5-1 lead. He let us down. Max 40 is 39, 40 years old. He's been letting us down all year. Like, I understand the frustration, but we'll go into the reason why Max is here at a later point tonight. But I'm more upset with Francisco Lindor, man. I'm sorry. Like, I'm a Lindor guy. I love him. I got his shirt. I got his jersey. I bring a Puerto Rican flag to every game. It's in my back pocket. Every time Lindor gets a knock, that Puerto Rican flag comes out. I love Lindor. Love him. but man, you're making a lot of money to get up to the plate with the bases loaded in the Subway Series and strike out. Man, you're making a lot of money for that. And I'm not one to count dollars, but you got traded here. You demanded an extension. You set a deadline. When you got that extension that the owner of this team fought for and literally said, I don't care how much it is, extend him. There's a level of expectations that comes with that. And you know what? You don't have to be the team leader. You don't have to be the team captain. You don't have to be the guy that's leading every dinner and breaking everything down. No. But you know what, man? Like, when push comes to shove, you got to produce. You got to produce. You got to be something. Max Scherzer, I can get as mad as I want. After next year, Max Scherzer's gone. I never got to see him again. All right? And he's 40 years old. Francisco Lindor, you probably got 2% body fat. You're in phenomenal shape. You're a Gold Glover, and you have yet to come here and take over at the plate. He's had little spurts where he produces and he does some nice things and he's got some highlight reels. And once again, I'm not dumping on him because I love him. But man, at some point, be the superstar. Be that guy. Be the guy we all hoped you were, because time's running out. We're in year 3. I could no longer sit here with my Lindor jersey on at Citi Field and defend you. I can't do that much longer. We're 3 years into the deal. I
agree.
Come on.
I agree. I'm going to let Nelson go. I know he's been a Lindor supporter. He's been a guy who's been saying that he starts off slow and he's a second half player, which is very, very true. You're not one to count dollars, but I am. I hold Verlander and Scherzer at high standards because of what they're making. I'm going to hold Lindor at a high standard because of what he's making as well. Your points about the contract are valid. Let's be honest. It applies to everybody, not just the Mets. It applies to everybody making that sort of dollar amount. They need to perform. Last year, Lindor had a great season. He's a very clutch player even this season, but he hasn't put together the numbers. He hasn't passed the eye test for a superstar player this season. Last year was a different story. I'm going to give him his props. He and Pete had phenomenal seasons last year in 2022. We came away with 101 wins, but we're talking about 2023. What can Lindor provide for the Mets moving forward? Maybe even just forgetting about what he's done so far, because like you said, time's running out. We need Lindor to come alive. There's still time left. I'm not going to, say that there's no time left. Nelson, tell me about the Lindor takes. Tell me about other negatives that you have. Let it out. Let it rip. This is your time.
I guess I'll touch on Lindor first. Let's not lump it all. Look, he had the first season was bad, obviously. Last year, he was great. I don't care what anybody says. Dude performed last year. This year's bad start. I mean, he's coming, aside from yesterday, he's come up big in clutch spots this year. See, about the only thing he's done. He's got 40-something RBIs. He's got 12 homers. Those are good numbers. Read an article today, an interesting article about his launch angle and how that is affecting his play this year. Their theory is that he's letting the craze of launch angle and trying to hit homers affect his play. Like he's trying to hit the ball in the air more, which is negatively impacting his play, which I could see that. And that's an adjustment you can make. Also, like you said, Lindor is a second half player. We're getting to the second half. Look, Do me a favor. If you don't know the numbers right now off the top of your head, and I don't, I had him written it down somewhere. Look at his July numbers. Look throughout his career. Look at his July numbers. The dude goes off in July. That's my scale with Lindor. If he doesn't turn it around in July, fine. That's what I'm waiting for. If he turns it around in July, then it is what it is. He needs to start now. I don't want to wait till July. He's making money. He needs to perform all year, but he's always been a second half guy. July and August are his hottest his hottest months by far. Even in his down seasons, his Julys have been crazy. So that's what I'm looking for. And I mean, he made a big mental error in Pittsburgh with the error on the like, if you're gonna not be consistent at the plate, I need you to be Frankie Lindor in the field and do your thing. And I can't have you making errors like he did in Pittsburgh. That was a bad one. And the fact that I also didn't like the fact that he didn't go. McGill got in trouble and they had a mound visit and he stood back. He's normally the one to go visit the mound, talk to the pitcher. He stood back. You can tell he's in his head right now. They're all in their heads. That's moving on from Lindor a little bit. The negatives with this team is that they're all in their heads. Every last one of them. Even when they do something well, you saw it with Nimmo. He does something well, but then makes a bullshit, excuse the language, a BS play in the field.
No worries.
Or a BS play on the bases. McNeil, he might get a good hit, but then he'll forget he's a second baseman. Everybody, Marte can't move a runner over to save his life. Nobody's living up to expectations. We can, like Matt said earlier, we can knock Buck, we can knock Epler. You want to knock Steve? I think that's far-fetched, but it's the players. It's the players. And I don't care about money, whatever. I don't really care what you make. That doesn't matter to me. But you just got to perform. And none of these guys are performing up to the back of their baseball cards. Not a one of them. I'm sorry. Not even Nimmo. He's been decent, but he hasn't. Even he's struggling a bit. Everybody is struggling. It's just
Nimmo's in a rough patch, no doubt. But you just said it. Nimmo screwed up on that, rounding second, but he redeems himself. So has a horrible first game, has a bad second game, but redeems himself in the end of the game. He gets hit by that pitch, which he leaned into, which in no way was within the strike zone.
It wasn't that bad on the replay,
but that's your job. That's your job at the plate. Your job with the bases loaded and the game on the line is lean into it. Lean into it, get that free base, and let it on to the next guy, right? So, like Nimmo is mentally tough enough to move on, and that's what he did tonight. He moved on, and he got the game-winning hit. Like, he got the walk-off. Good for him. I'm so encouraged by that he was able to overcome that. I'm so encouraged by that.
Yeah.
I just need to see it on a more consistent basis from any of these guys. It's just inconsistent because you'll see a lot of them will bounce back and do something good, and then they'll turn around and do something stupid right after. It's just like a constant, never-ending cycle. I don't know if it's some of that's on the manager. Has he lost the clubhouse? Who knows? I don't know, but these guys are not.
That's tough because we're not in the clubhouse.
Exactly. We don't know.
To get back on Lindor, I hate to harp on it, but like he's a big part of this team. He's such a big part of this team. He's so like look at 2022. He was such a big part of their success last year. He really was. This guy drove in runs. This guy drove the ball out of the park. We need him to be better, like better than he's been. Better, way better.
Yeah, they all have to be better.
Yes, but like at some point he's got to be that guy. At some point he's got to be that guy. And I've been a defender for so long, and I'm hitting a breaking point with him. I am.
If I can just paraphrase before we get onto it, I will say CG plays Finding Nemo kind of lucky. Tomorrow's Yankees winning. They don't play the Mets. Hopefully, actually, they don't play at all. Yankees got an off day tomorrow.
We don't play tomorrow.
I appreciate the guy, whoever is behind that account, tuning in. Hopefully, you're enjoying the stream. And then Nick, shout out you for joining in. Says playing for the Mets is an existential crisis.
That might be my I don't know.
Which may be very well true. I think what Matt is trying to say, I'm hearing both sides here. I know we got two different little viewpoints. This is why we're having this discussion. I think Lindor, the argument on Lindor is that, when you made that trade, you sent over already established Rosario, getting to be established.
Wait, let's say, hold. I got to stop you there. Don't start with that, because Rosario and Jimenez both suck. We might as well have sent a bag of balls to Cleveland. That has nothing to do with it.
I'm talking about in hindsight when the trade actually happened is what people are saying when they're judging the trade before Lindor and whoever even performed on their respective teams is what I was trying to say. But regardless, to Matt's point, what he was trying to say is that he understands. I feel like we all understand what Lindor brings to the table, right? I feel like just the superstar status, and I'm sorry, I believe Lindor was a superstar in Cleveland. I know some people may disagree with that. I don't know what the numbers exactly were in his career in Cleveland, but I thought, we're getting a superstar player. We're getting a guy that we build off of. We add to Pete and we add on to both of these guys. Pete also is another guy this year who has not been performing up to expectations as well. Let's just say that right now. Besides the home runs and RBIs, the same thing can be said with Lindor because we're keeping people accountable here, right? We're keeping people accountable. Pete also, let me finish. Pete also, home runs and RBIs has not delivered in times that we would like Pete Alonso to deliver, right? These two guys, right? If we're going to say one thing about Lindor, you have to say something about Pete as well. Although Pete does have the far better numbers. 100% has the far better numbers overall. In the clutch, maybe not so much. Lindor is more of the clutch hitter. These guys are not the point that I'm trying to get at is these guys are not gelling as a unit. That's what I'm trying to get at. Lindor and Pete, right? Even in spite of their struggles, they can be the hottest hitters on the planet, both of them at the same time. If Marte, McNeil, and Nimmo are not surrounding them with any protection, those guys can only do so much being the two guys in this order. So what I'm saying is that we can sit here and harp on Lindor, Pete, both of them all day long. We get it. But Marte has been on and off this season. His OPS is, I know people love to say OPS is a flawed stat, whatever, get it. But his OPS is floating under 700 right now. His OPS plus is 81. League average is 100. He hasn't been great. Jeff McNeil also OPS stinks. His batting average is sitting 260, whatever.
He's about
278.
No, this is not the Jeff McNeil we know. This is not the Jeff McNeil, the batting champion Jeff McNeil, not the Jeff McNeil we extended. He's been disappointing as well. So I like to go down the list in terms of holding accountability. We can talk about Lindor. I know we're going to make a big fuss about Lindor. We got to talk about Pete, blah, blah, blah. But the guys surrounding those two guys, because they are the guys in the lineup right now. Until we get another big bopper alongside them, these are the guys. We got to talk about the rest of the lineup as well. Anybody like to add on to that? Nelson, go ahead.
I just want to touch on that. I completely agree. I agree that Lindor is underperforming. I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying based on his career trajectory, I believe he's going to, at the end of the year, I believe he's going to put up his numbers. I believe in him. I just do. But you're right. Okay. It's the other, and what's going to help him get there and what may stop him from getting there is the fact that the guys around him aren't doing shit. Sorry for language. I keep forgetting. No, but Marte last year was a huge catalyst. Huge. We don't have that this year. Yep. Nimmo, for the most part, has been there. But McNeil isn't the same McNeil so far either. Alonso hasn't been Alonso. Lindor hasn't had the same protection from Alonso that he had last year. So, there's as long as everybody else is struggling, he's going to struggle too. Hopefully he can get hot at some point. I believe he will. But yeah, you're right. You have to hold everybody accountable. And the kids too. Alvarez has been the best one by far, but Beatty's had his struggles. Vientos is not playing. I'll give him, he's not playing enough to really get in a groove. Yeah. But everybody, it's up and down the lineup. Nobody's really doing what they need to do.
Alvarez is doing what he's supposed to be doing. I mean, Alvarez.
Well, yeah, that's I said that he's the only one.
Yeah. Alvarez is doing it. I don't want to harp on it too much. Ultimately, the whole lineup needs to do their job. And we all want Alvarez to succeed. Not Alvarez, Lindor. If you're one of those, like, I'm just gonna say this: if you're and I know all the stats on Lindor. I know everything he hasn't done. I get it. Since he's become a Met, he still hasn't gotten over 800 of an OPS. I get it. He's had a horrible batting average. I get it. You know what the reality is? Lindor is never going to live up to that contract that he demanded. And that, like, it is what it is. There's nothing we can do about that. But
not many guys do. I will caveat.
I was going to say, I'll
No,
argue none of those shortstops have.
none of them have. But like, man, it's like, and this is going to tie into my Cohen point because we're coming on to like an hour here. So
we got to get into Cohen. I want to talk about Steve Cohen, Mr. Owner.
If you're one of those idiots, and I'm going to call you an idiot, like every time Lindor strikes out, every time Lindor pops out or grounds out, and you're just like, you're waiting for it. You're waiting for it. And the minute it happens, you're all over Twitter. Oh, there's the $34 million man. Like, you're part of the problem, idiot. You're a part of the problem. If you're that stupid, like, it's a free country. Do what you want. But you want to pay $50 to park your car, $100 for a ticket, $18 for a hot dog, $14 for a beer, just to boo this guy? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
That's nothing new, though.
No,
that's nothing new with this fan base.
Chris, this bleeds right in. This bleeds right into my Steve Cohen argument. If you think, and I'm not going to mention names because we're all entitled to our own opinion, and it's nobody on this show. It's fair to if you don't like Steve Cohen for who he is, that's fine. I'm not going to defend him. I don't know the guy. I just know he owns a really successful investment firm, and I know that he bought my team. That's what I know about Steve Cohen. That's about all we know. But you know what else we know about Steve Cohen? Is that he walked in and spent money from day one. Something that we as a fan base, we begged for. We craved it. We couldn't wait to get a guy like this. Imagine in 2019, somebody walks up to you and they tell you, hey, some billionaire, like massive billionaire, is going to buy your baseball team. And he's going to get a luxury tax named after him. And you may not win a World Series like in the first 3 years. But like, he's going to spend a ton of money and upgrade the stadium. And oh, by the way, if you're a season ticket holder, he's not going to raise your prices. He's also not going to raise the prices of a hot dog and a beer. Like, imagine telling a Mets fan that in 2019. Because that's what we're living in right now, right? Like, the team isn't a whole lot better, but the organization is. It is. Yeah. From top to bottom, it is. It's being run in a completely different way, a way we've never seen before. And if you're going to look at the Mets record right now and say it's Steve Cohen's fault and blame him for being in front of a camera every day, tweet every day, I don't care. You have changed the trajectory of this organization. You have changed the free agent viewpoint of this organization. Free agents want to come here. They want to do business with Steve Cohen. You know why? Because he's going to pay. Okay? The Verlander and Scherzer contracts are not an indictment on the organization. They're a statement in that Steve Cohen doesn't care. He doesn't care what things cost. He doesn't care about your tax. He doesn't care about having to pay extra to pay players. He doesn't care because Steve Cohen wants to win. So all you Met fans, I'm not going to call you stupid. You're all entitled to your own opinion. But by God, if you're blaming Steve Cohen for the reason we're losing, take a real hard look in the mirror, man. Because we waited a long time for this, a really long time for this. And
Nelson,
if you want to push this guy out, think about what you're saying. It's ridiculous. I'm not kissing the guy's rear end, but really think about what you're saying, Mets fans, because it's very foolish. Very foolish.
I definitely agree. Nelson, let me get you to chime in on that. Drew, the RN, Tommy Pham carried the runs tonight. Definitely, Tommy Pham deserves his props. Appreciate you joining the stream. Subscribe if you haven't. Tommy Pham did really well. But Steve Cohen talk, I'll give my 2 cents on that as well. Nelson, I saw you nodded your head in agreement. What do you think on Steve Cohen?
Yeah, well, first off, I wanted what he said at the end. It's funny because now there's realms of Mets Twitter where if you say something good about Steve Cohen, you're kissing his butt and, oh, he can do no wrong. He's the almighty Steve. Nobody's saying that.
No.
Yeah.
But he's a brand new owner. He's 3 years into the game. Sometimes I wonder, I know some of these Mets fans, I know some of them have lived through the Wilpon era. sometimes I wonder if they have some sort of amnesia. Did they forget the Wilpon years? Because from 2002 to 2021, when Cohen came in, anybody better guess how many times we made the playoffs?
From 2020. Oh, before. Okay.
Go ahead, Matt. 2002. 2002 is when Doubleday sold his half to the Wilpons.
We made it in 06.
I would say 3 times.
You got it. 20,
yeah,
2015 and 16. That's it.
Yeah.
3 years we made the playoffs. Most of that other time, we were the laughing stock of baseball. Yep. Free agents didn't want to come here. Like, except for when we had Bernie Madoff's money in 2005 and 2006. That's what the only time that we looked respectable. 2015 was lucky, to be honest with you.
Nelson, it's like yelling at your parents for getting you the wrong color BMW for Christmas. Like,
exactly.
That's literally what it is.
It's like, I don't get where the sense of entitlement comes from. That's what bothers me. Yeah. So we won 101 games last year. I know nobody wants to hear it, but this guy, the Wilpons left him with nothing. He turned us around in year 2. Yeah, this is a down season, but how is it his fault? I don't expect him to fly off the rails and just fire everybody. If that's what you want, I'm sorry. That's not good business. You have to be smart, and you have to think these things through.
Why would anybody in the future want to take a job in this organization when listen, do I think Buck is doing a good job? No. Do I think Buck deserves to be the manager? No, I don't. In a perfect world, I would fire him. But you know what? You can't do that, because if you do that, you tell every other prospective manager out there, hey, the minute you start to screw up, you're gone. You're not going to be given any chance. And every manager is going to say, I don't want a job with you. You're going to ruin my reputation. You're going to ruin my career. I want no part of your organization.
Let me play devil's advocate here for 1 second. Let me play devil's advocate. I agree with all points. I will never, ever, pretty much ever, especially now from what I've seen in 3 early years, like Nelson said, blame Steve Cohen for whatever the Mets are producing on the field, right? Well, he's paying the checks, and that's about that. These players, we've already agreed that the players are not performing to the back of their baseball cards. That's one. But I will say is that no, there should not be any rash firings, because you set an unwanted precedent for future years of people who you might want to lead this team in the future, maybe shying away from you because you're known as a little bit of a hothead. But what I will say is that when you see a manager like Buck Showalter, when you see inconsistencies from a GM like Epler, what I'm hoping, and we'll never know if it's happening behind closed doors, because we all know the image that Steve Cohen has produced with the Mets so far. He's a nice guy. He's patient, which is awesome.
That's not his reputation in business, though.
Yeah. But what I will say is I hope that he's having those internal conversations with Buck Showalter. And what I will say is that I hope that he's holding Buck Showalter to a standard that's beyond just, Buck Showalter has had a really good tenure in this league as a manager. What I will say is that don't put him on the hot seat, or maybe do put him on the hot seat. Don't fire him. I don't think Buck Showalter's going anywhere. I don't think Billy Epler's going anywhere anytime this season. I know a lot of Mets fans are up in arms about that. But what I will say is that there are certain tough conversations that need to be had from the top when things get a little out of hand, and I hope Steve Cohen is having those conversations. That's all I'm saying.
I agree, and I don't know that he's not or that he is. We don't know. We're not behind the scenes. What I do know, he's paying attention, because that tweet he sent out tonight, he mentioned the mental mistakes. He could have easily just said, hey, nice win, boys. That was a little like, hey, I'm watching.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
To the Mets fans that are like the Mets fans that are literally fans, like your fans, like me, you, Nelson, and you, Chris. All 3 of us are fans. We're not media. We don't have a pass. We don't get to go in the locker room. We don't get to interview players. Like what we do is a hobby. We are all fans. We love this team. That's why we do this. Yeah. Man, like you fans that are claiming that Vientos was called up because Cohen said so. That like all these crazy things that maybe are true, maybe, but we've seen no confirmation of. Like to make these wild statements out on Twitter and to like be so profound that you're blocking people, you're kicking people out of space. Like it's just weird. It's weird energy. It's
ridiculous. Stop. I don't delve into any of that. I'm not going to even get into anything that we see on Mets Twitter.
It's nuts.
Yeah, I'm not here. We're not. I'm not going to talk about anything about Mets Twitter because that's a whole different. I want to separate my channel away from Mets Twitter and whoever besides the people I have up here.
I apologize.
I like to leave that out because that's a whole different ballgame within itself. I'm not here to call anyone out. People have their opinions. They always will. Back to the booing. That's always going to happen with the New York fan base. The Yankees fans do it. The Mets fans do it. It's never going to – it's no point to talk to people like that because you're never going to change their perspective. Maybe one day they'll come around and then there's going to be another set of fans that come in and just start booing again. So it doesn't really matter about that. But I just want to make sure that we're all having a good time with this. But, just to tie everything up, I mean, really, one thing I do want to get into, I know we've been going on kind of long here. I appreciate you guys' time doing a little extended version with me. Obviously, we went live for the bottom of the 10th. We saw the walk-off. Just to get back, and before I get into my next point, what I want to talk about, Drew, the RN, don't fire Buck, don't fire Billy. We need a new pitching and hitting coaching staff like everyone else. Yeah, we can get into that conversation. I'm not going to get into that conversation today. I know there was some knock from people who I follow on Twitter about Hefner and what he's been doing with the pitching staff, what he may or may not be doing. That is valid concerns. The hitting coach, I don't really like to get on the hitting coach too much because Eric Chavez at the end of the day is still in that dugout. Obviously served as a hitting coach last season. Forget the guy's name that we have as a hitting coach this season, but you can't tell me that Eric Chavez and this guy, who is it?
Jeremy Barnes.
You can't tell me Jeremy Barnes and Eric Chavez aren't chopping it up in the dugout every single day about the philosophies of this team. So for the point that I heard was that, new hitting coach is new philosophy this year. That's a bunch of baloney. Eric Chavez is still in there. He still has the players' respect. The philosophy didn't change. The hitting philosophy didn't change overnight from season to season just because Jeremy Barnes is in there now. I don't buy it. And to that point, David Stearns is good friends with Billy Epler, like a conversation we had, Matt. I think this is the same carryover as well. It's the same carryover. Regardless of that, though, I appreciate Drew tuning in. I'm always going to shout everybody out that tunes in, comments. Regardless of what they comment, we can agree, disagree. The fact that they're tuning in and supporting it always means a lot to me. I'm sure it means a lot to the guys next to me as well. What I want to say about this game is that there's too many mental mistakes. We can call them out. Honestly, if I miss anything, let me know. Brooks Raley debacle on the steal home. Let's see. McNeil / Vientos co-error. I put it more on McNeil. He shouldn't have gotten rid of that ball, being a veteran player he is. To Matt's point, Vientos not coming off the base and trying to get the out when he knew he had no chance of getting that out. What else? Brandon Nimmo's running mistake. Well, I'll say Brandon Nimmo. I'm gonna say two things because this is a Subway Series recap. Brandon Nimmo's error last night in the field that contributed solely to a run. And in a play that he makes. I'm not talking about the first one where he slid because I don't expect anyone to come up with that. That's a bonus that they do. I'm talking about the second one that Nimmo makes that play 9 times out of 10. That was a debacle. That was we can't have that. That contributed solely that contributed to a run. But also the running mistake today. He did make up for it. Kudos to Brandon Nimmo. A testament to his mental toughness, as Matt said. What am I missing? Mental mistakes tonight. Jeff Brigham can't do what he did to have 2 runners on in the beginning of the inning. Whatever.
Yeah. I don't know that that's a mental mistake. That's just a performance issue.
That's a performance mistake. Am I missing any mental mistakes today? Because those 3 within itself are huge, but anything else is a cherry on top for me right now.
I don't think so.
Does today count as one of the 10 days of suspension that Drew Smith has to serve?
Yes, let's get into that. Good point. This is going to be the last topic before we kind of wrap things up here. Drew Smith's suspension. I want to get you guys' points on that. Honestly, I really want to forget Drew Smith from my memory. I don't like the guy. He hasn't really been what the Mets need him to be. He hasn't taken those steps over the last couple of years that we all thought he was going to take. He's up and down. He's hot. He's cold. Drew Smith is losing me. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know about your guys' takes on the
Yeah.
topic, but
Yes.
he gets ejected for the sticky stuff.
I was
Last night,
kind of happy in that moment when we still had a chance in that game. I was like, well, honestly, good because he was gonna screw this up.
he was gonna blow it anyways. So my point is, and I chatted back and forth with you guys in our chat on Twitter. These players know their hands are getting checked when they come out of the dugout, right? These players know their hands are getting checked.
Well,
Why would they not have the substance on either their hat or their belt or their pants? Somewhere where the umpire's probably not going to put his hands and call it a day. When he gets on the mound, then he tries to real slickly do whatever he needs to do with his hands. What makes these umpires think that these players are so stupid?
The ump that kicked him looks like the same guy that was behind home plate tonight. I believe it's the same guy. That guy really loved the camera, loved the attention. The explanation after the game, I don't like that. What was on his hands? I don't know, but it was sticky.
It was sticky, yeah.
Sweat and rosin is sticky. I sweat. If you're ever around me and it's above 70 degrees outside, I sweat like a. I'm not going to make the analogy because we're trying to keep this PG, Chris. I sweat a lot. So you could touch my arm and you could say my arm is sticky. You could touch a baseball and touch my arm and say, oh, I have a good grip. Like there's. I think that we've created an issue. We've created a gray area where like, well, what was on his hands? I don't know. It was sticky. Well, what does that mean? What does that mean? I guarantee if you touch any pitcher's hands, it's sticky.
They're sticky.
Don't get me wrong. I was happy to see Drew Smith get kicked because I can't stand him right now. But like,
he sucks because he's bad.
I hate that explanation. I just do.
Also, what I want to say before Nelson goes, because I want to get his point on it, is two things. So actually, maybe even one thing. Buck Showalter, you see when he got that explanation, how quickly Buck Showalter left the scene and left Drew Smith to do whatever he was going to do out there. You saw how quickly Buck Showalter booked it to that dugout. I don't know what that means. I don't know.
He did that with Scherzer too. He didn't really do anything.
Have you ever read the rule?
Yeah, that's right. That's true too.
If you read the rule, it literally says
you can't argue it.
Yeah,
I agree.
Exactly.
But then you get to the whole point of like, oh, should Buck Showalter be arguing to show some fire, blah, blah. I know we have our opinions on that.
For what?
But
what's the point?
The point.
The number two, before Nelson, I let you go and I give your whole spiel on this topic, is that really this is the second debacle, and not even only the second debacle to the Mets this season that this has happened, where MLB looks like complete fools in their explanations. Right after the game. I don't know if you saw it, but Drew Smith said that he literally talked to an MLB official in the dugout on his way in the tunnel, and the guy laughed.
Yeah, I laughed at him.
He basically said, "That's nothing, right?" So, what does is MLB just going to keep denying this? Are they going to alter the rules? Like, this is something that we need to keep an eye on because this is ridiculous. Some of the rules, like we can argue that the game of baseball has changed for the better with the watch time and it's more engaging. This and that. But some of the rules, and we saw it with the Jeff McNeil play today with his leg slightly on the base.
That was the same umpire.
Some of these rules are getting to the point where they are just getting a little bit too much. Nelson, you're up. Let's hear about the sticky stuff and your thoughts on the Drew Smith situation.
I mean, I don't have a lot to say about it. The rule is ridiculous. It's an arbitrary thing. These umps can just make up what they think is sticky or not sticky. There's no measuring stick to what is too sticky. They can just decide today his hands are too sticky. And then they're not consistent. The Yankee dude gets to go wash his hands. Scherzer, they told him to wash his hands. Apparently that made it worse. Smith didn't even get a chance. He just got thrown out. So why is it different depending on the pitcher, depending on the day? Like, it should be one rule for everybody. These guys are just making shit up as they go along. It's ridiculous. And I didn't want to see Smith pitch either. I think he stinks too, but it is what it is.
Before you go, Matt, shout out Drew the RN. Glad I stumbled on your channel. Keep up the good work. Definitely appreciate that. Appreciate you tuning in. Like I said, thank you for engaging. Hopefully you're enjoying the content. Hopefully everybody joining in is enjoying the content. Nothing more fun than discussing Mets baseball, win or lose, with the guys to my sides. Definitely been a fun journey so far, and Only way here is up. So appreciate that. Matt, sticky stuff. Let's add on to it. This is definitely this is what irked me yesterday, and I'm glad you pointed out because I didn't want to end the live stream without talking about it. So what's going on?
I mean, I'm not gonna say that Drew Smith wasn't cheating. I'm not gonna be that guy. Just like get rid of the gray area on the rule, man. Like get rid of that nonsense. It's one or it's the other. If he's using something, then take his baseball mitt, take a sample of his hand, send it out to a lab, and you could suspend him for 10 days, but like get an answer. Was it rosin or was it something else? Like if you're gonna enforce this, enforce it. If you're not gonna enforce it, don't enforce it. I understand what the rule says. I've read it. And it literally says, well, it could be that you use too much rosin. Well, what's too much rosin? The rule literally says too much rosin to the umpire's discretion. What does that mean? So what? You're telling me Game 7 of the World Series and the Mets are playing the Yankees, and you're going to do the same thing? You're going to kick him? No effing way.
Shot.
There's no way you're going to do it. There's no way. So just listen. I'm never one to complain about rules, but just create one uniform rule that we could all follow. It's the same reason we were just talking about it before. Why I want robot umps. I don't want robot umps because I think the umps are terrible. The umps are humans. They make mistakes, but we have cameras. Like we have a way to override mistakes. So let's do it. Stop dancing around it. If a guy was cheating, say he was cheating. Don't say that his hands were sticky. I could have a lollipop before I walk out on the field, and my hands will be sticky. So what's a substance? What is it? What is it?
Not only is it an inconsistent environment, it's an environment that sets the MLB up to always be right and the players to have no shot at appealing because there's no evidence and there's no
they can't appeal it.
And there's no appeal process. So the appeal process is pretty much a joke as well. So shout out Josh tuning into the stream. The rule is inconsistent as inconsistent as NBA refs.
Congratulations.
Is this our Josh? Congrats, Josh. Congrats.
Yeah. Shout out Josh.
Go
Nuggets
Nuggies.
fan. They just won the championship. So shout out Josh with that. But yeah, I definitely agree. Looking forward to just wrapping things up. The Cardinals series coming up. They're coming into Citi Field for a 3-game set. We got McGill on the mound game 1. We got a couple day games mixed in here as well in this series. We got McGill in game 1. We got Kodai Senga in game 2, and then we got Carlos Carrasco. Sorry, it's getting too late for me to even pronounce words in game 3. Listen, McGill, Nelson, you were there in Pittsburgh. You saw McGill firsthand.
Booed the crap out of him. There's a video on my YouTube.
That's got a lot of likes on your short. What's the situation with McGill? How do we go about this season with pretty much not having to see him? Like, there's no way that McGill exits the road. Like, do you think that we can send him down or like? What's the deal with McGill? Because I don't want to see him anymore in the everyday rotation, every 5th day or every 6th day, whatever the Mets decide to roll out with. What do we do with McGill to get him out of here? Because like I said, I'm a fan of McGill. He's inconsistent, but listen, we can't keep trying him out as a starter. That's just unacceptable. So where do we go from here with McGill, Nelson?
He's got until Quintana comes back. Quintana just started pitching yesterday. That's basically it. You're not getting rid of Cookie Carrasco. Not over McGill.
I agree.
I was listening to Joe DeMayo a couple days ago over at SNY. It sounds like McGill may not get that start. It may be Lucchesi, it may be Peterson. So look out. I'm just saying, look out. I don't know that McGill is going to continue to get those starts because he has options. He's got options in his deal.
I mean, that's possible too. I just think at that best, he's got until Quintana comes back. Which is July. And once that happens, he's gone.
Send him down. Why not? DFA him, bullpen, or what?
He's got options. I think you send him down and hope maybe you can convince some other team to give you something for him. I don't know, but he's not that good. He's just not.
I don't know that I even want him in the bullpen because what he looked like in the bullpen last year was horrific. Him and Peterson.
He's mental. It's mental with him. I watched him in Pittsburgh. The second adversity comes along, he folds, and in the
He's got
bullpen, it's
stuff.
worse.
He's
Yeah,
got
he's
the
got,
stuff.
and in the bullpen, it'll be worse because those are all pressure situations. So I just don't believe in him. I'm sorry, I just don't. Him and Peterson both. Bye.
Hey, City Cars says Mets cheaters. Mets
Whatever.
cheaters. Mets cheaters.
I trust
One,
Lucchese over McGill.
and we got John Boy cursed the Yankees and Mets with his slander of Jose Altuve. Yeah, fellas. I don't. Like I said, one win is one win. I'm really happy that we got the win, especially over the Yankees, especially with the way what I saw on Twitter between Mets and Yankees Twitter. Keith McPherson, that guy rubs me the wrong way, man. I don't like
Forget that guy.
McPherson, what
He's a
a
joke.
d-bag that guy is. That guy, I can't even believe that he's on MLB Network. Like, I don't call anybody out really ever in the media scene or whatnot because I respect all their kind of takes, but that show in itself is just one of the worst shows I've ever seen put together on MLB Network. But also the fact that Keith McPherson, I'm not sure if he's still on it. I haven't watched him in a long time. Thank goodness. But that, I think it's Off Base or something like that. Keith McPherson, man, that guy needs to
listen.
That guy needs to figure something out.
I don't listen to WFAN too often anymore. They've lost my ear. But like the guys that WFAN has on the radio aren't good. Like, they're not good. I'm not gonna sit here and mention names, but they're not good. There's a couple that are okay, that are good, but for the most part, it's not a good lineup. And Keith McPherson, he's a Mets troll, no doubt about it. I was talking to him at the Yankee Red Sox game Friday night. I bumped into him.
He gets engagements out of it.
But he knows his stuff. He's genuinely watching the Mets games as much as he's watching the Yankee games. He does care. And you know what? That's a lot more than some of the Met fans at WFAN can say. So you guys could rag on Keith, but if you were here in the New York area and you listened to what we had, at times it's disgraceful. It's despicable. Because
like I said, I only take it at face value of what I see from an outsider's perspective, being outside of New York. So if he's good, I trust your word on that. But just what appears to me and what I come across is just like been like, all right, dude, whatever. But anyways, regardless, that's the NY media scene. The Mets win 4-3 tonight. Justin Verlander absolutely shoved. Did what he needed to do in a really good spot. This is what we paid him for. Need to see more consistency out of him. He gets my game ball. Nelson's game ball went to Brandon Nimmo if you missed it. And then Matt's game ball went to the home plate umpire for the absolutely horrid job, in Matt's words, that he did tonight, as you can see from his screen. We're going to wrap it up. The Mets are starting a 3-game set tomorrow. They obviously split with the Yankees in the Subway Series. Dropped the first game in heartbreaking fashion, won the second game in exciting fashion, albeit maybe a little sloppy fashion. They start the 3-game set with the Cardinals tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow. I don't think we have an off day. And we'll see.
No, we have an off. It's an off day tomorrow.
Okay, I didn't look at the schedule just yet. So we do have an off day. The Yankees have an off day as well. So we got Thursday off. Friday starts the Cardinals series. We'll see what happens. I need to see some consistency, like we just said today in this stream. We need to see more. Tonight is good, but I'm not convinced personally. I don't know if you guys are convinced, but I'm not convinced with what I saw. I need to see it consistently. That starts on Friday at Citi Field. As always, guys, like, I'm going to do my little sort of advertising here. Make sure you're dropping, liking, subscribing, commenting, all that good stuff on the channel, my channel, not only my channel, but these gentlemen's channels as well. Nelson runs a great page, both Twitter and YouTube. His YouTube's at Amish Country Mets Fan. His Twitter handle's at Amish Country Met, a little bit different there. Matt also newly stood up a YouTube channel tonight, his debut. We are both subscribed to that channel. At Flushing Sunny 41, go search him up, go subscribe. Trying to get him some more subscribers. His Twitter handle is also the same thing, at Flushing Sunny 41. Matt, do you want to say a little bit about what you're going to be planning to do with the YouTube channel? You don't have that figured out just yet.
I don't have it figured out just yet, but because Chris, when did we do the live stream? Sunday last a couple days ago. Sunday, right?
What do we do? We got a couple up there, so yeah.
Yeah. So because Chris put me on the spot last Sunday, I'm going to put Chris on the spot tonight. Chris, you put me on the spot to make the channel. I made the channel. Are we going to go live again this weekend? The three of us. Nelson, are you available? Can we go live again?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Maybe
free.
after the
I'm free for the game. So you guys
Sundays are good
shoot
for
me
me.
the best day. You guys shoot
Sundays
me
are
the best
good
day
for
that
me.
you guys are available. What was the day?
Sunday.
Sunday, Matt?
Yeah, I gotta actually be at another barbecue, but I'll make it work. I'll bring my equipment.
Okay.
We're good.
All right. Sunday it is. We will be on the live. Easy answer. Yes, Matt. We will be on the live on Sunday. So tune into that. Make sure you do that. That will hopefully be streamed. There you go, on all three of our channels now. Got to get some content up on Matt's YouTube channel. As always, myself at CPNY Sports on Twitter. This is my channel that you're watching on, or if you're watching from anybody else's, subscribe there, but come over to mine, subscribe as well. And also, last but not least, just announced today, Nelson and I's project coming up later this month, June 27th, the Interstate Mets Report. A little bit of context. We are both not in the New York area currently. So when you come across the logo, you're going to see I-80 and I-95, both roads that we need to take to get to New York, which is the basis behind the name. So the Twitter handles at Interstate Mets. Make sure you go ahead and follow that that Twitter page. We're going to be doing all of that. It's going to be streamed on both of our YouTubes when we get that going on YouTube. I'm really excited about that. It's going to be a Mets Day After report, not a live stream. I'm going to try to do some live streams, post-game lives, and continue those as well when I can. But go tune into that. Also, myself, I'm part of a Mets Roundtable podcast on Talking Mets with Rob's channel. Go check him out as well. He has a great page full of Mets content. Everything Mets you'd like. Talking Mets with Rob's got. So go follow that. Also with Subway to Shea, Shane Sons, and Talking Mets with Hayden. Great group of individuals. Happy to be doing that on Monday nights. Again, that's the Mets Roundtable podcast. Gentlemen, any final words here before we come off? This is your time to shine. Anything else you'd like to get off your chest before we exit this live stream for tonight?
Go ahead, Matt.
I'm out of popcorn, so I'm good. Chris, this was a lot of fun. Thank you. Yeah, this was great. It's fun to win. Let's go Mets. So Nelson.
All right, I'll try to keep it short, but listen, as far as the team, one win doesn't mean nothing really. We just got to be consistent, try to rattle off. The Cardinals stink. Try to get at least two. Hopefully get a sweep, but let's not be greedy. And then go from there. My goal for this team, I said on the live stream the other day, is to try to get to 500 by July. That's the goal. I don't think it's that far-fetched. So let's see what we can do. Thanks for having us on. Obviously, we co-host this, and please, like you said, Interstate Mets report June 27th is dropping. Follow the Twitter page. That'll be both of our YouTubes. And I'm sure Matt will be around and be a guest on that as well.
Of course.
And one little plug for what I'm doing. On Friday, I gotta give a shout out to this little dude. He's an Orioles fan. He's got his own little YouTube page going. He's a little kid. He calls himself. Hold on, let me look up his @ real quick. I'll give him a shout out. I believe it's at ASPN_Ash. His name is Ash. And he does a lot of Orioles content, and he asked me if I'd be down for an interview on Friday, so I'm gonna do that. So shout out to him, and support the little dude if you can. And I think I'm dropping my podcast Friday as well, so check that out and follow me or subscribe to Amish Country Mets fan, and yeah, let's go Mets.
Of course. Follow everybody. These guys are always a blast to do this content with. We went Pretty long today, gents. I'm really, really, really satisfied with the content that we've got now. Shout out to everybody, like I said, that joined the stream along the way. We got a couple last second comments here. Matches Malone says, I will be scribing. Thank you so much, Matches Malone. And we got Kenny Fry here. Great stuff, guys. Appreciate you
My
tuning in,
boy
Kenny. Thank you so
Kenny.
much. Yep.
Shout out
Yep.
Kenny.
Shout out Kenny. Appreciate everyone. Like I said, tuning in. I'll always, whoever comments, I'll put it up, shout them out. Regardless of what the comment is. Thank you all for subscribing. It's been a long one, but as these gentlemen, have said, I will reiterate as always. Whether it's win or lose, we're going to be here. We're going to talk about it because that's what we do, and we enjoy this team, and we're fans of the team. We don't get paid to do this, but we do this because we love this team. And with that, as always, guys, let's go Mets.
Let's go Mets.
Peace.
Keep the faith.